Hi Jesse, how are you? Pleasure to finally meet you here in Mister Supranational USA.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, so what brings you here to Mister Supranational USA? And can you give a little intro about yourself?
Yeah, of course. Jesse James Patterson. I go by JP. I have been an actor and a model since I was 10 years old. I do stunts. I'm a producer, director. I do social media content creation, and I'm loving every single minute of being out here in LA. I've been able to meet the most amazing people and had the most amazing experiences since I've been out here. And this is where I call home. And it's really transpired such a love of art for me. And ever since I got into XMA, which is extreme martial arts, it's changed my entire world. So a lot of my time is martial arts and weapons training. So I'm blending the two worlds together as an actor and a stunt performer. And under the coaching of Mike Chat, it has been a dream come true. I'm working with 87 North Productions right now, and we are working on a couple projects. So this next year is going to be absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for it. I live on adrenaline, so I've been doing daring acts since I was a little kid. So, I mean, everything from bungee jumping to scuba diving to wakeboarding, just everything extreme, I've done it. But it wasn't until martial arts and stunt performing that I fell in love with it. I think that just being a risk taker in general is so crucial to what we do as performers and to getting outside your comfort zone. Having cameras in your face, taking off your clothes, doing stunt performing and acting in front of, crowds of people, dancing even. I've been dancing since I was about 18 years old professionally and went on tour. And I think that was the scariest thing for me. That was the biggest risk because I had such a team behind me that expected so much from me as a lead dancer on a world tour. And it's not something that I've done like acting or modeling since I was 10 years old. So it was something I had to learn really quick. And we were put under the most crazy circumstances with no dress rehearsal and a crowd of 1,500 people on the first day. And that was pretty high pressure. I would say that was one of the top things for me. It wasn't until I was asked to produce two videos for JLo for her social media, and those videos were back to back. I had one day in between, and I was prepping for the next video as I was wrapping and editing the last one, and I couldn't drop the ball on it. And of course, you have the Queen JLo, who is a perfectionist, and she knows exactly what she wants. So I was on pins and needles, and I was sweating bullets just a little bit, but it was such a great experience, and I absorbed so much just being around her. So I would say that was the scariest, that was the most thrilling thing for me, the biggest risk, to put my hand up in the air when they asked, can anybody do this? I said yes, without even thinking twice. And then I got there and I was like, what did I sign up for? They were expecting so much from me, but it went off so well, and I'm so glad I did it. So I've just learned over the years, take risks, go hard, and if anyone asks you if you can do it, you say yes and keep pushing. There's going to be a lot of obstacles that are going to come your way, but it's all about the perseverance and just picking up the balls as they drop and keep pushing. I've broken a couple rules in my life. I haven't broken any laws, but I've broken some rules, and I think that's really healthy for people in just a general sense. When you're in an industry like this, you're told no so often, you have to figure it out. And you can't just wait for someone to give you an opportunity, you have to make those opportunities. So in a way, breaking the rules is part of the business. And as soon as you start learning that and leaning into that, some amazing things can happen. I've been told no in dance and acting, and I've been told, oh, you can't do this, or you're too old for this, or you're too young for this, or you're, not at the same level, but you have to figure it out, and you have to network, and you have to kind of jump some lines and, go up to people, even though the technical thing to do is just to be polite, sit back, don't say anything. I strongly believe you have to really get that courage. Courage is the number one thing you have to go into this industry with, and to be bold enough to stand up, speak up, and tell people what you want and what you can offer. And even if you don't believe in yourself right away, you have to just push past that doubt, and magical things are going to come. I would define a Superman with simply heart. You can have a lot of things going for you. You can have looks, you can have talent, but if you don't have that burning drive and passion in what you love to do, all of that kind of falls to the wayside. I would say a Superman has unbelievable passion and heart in everything that he does. And I've taken that sense of mentality into everything that I do, and I don't take it lightly. I'm super passionate about marginalized communities, and that's why I joined the Trevor Project. LGBTQAI plus youth are really struggling. There's a lot of communities that are, but that's something that I feel really passionate about. And you know, a Superman needs to stand up for those people. You know, when you have great power, you have great responsibility. When you have a platform, you need to use it for good. And as long as I can stand up and speak for those people and to push and motivate and inspire, I will always show up.
Hi, Craig.
What's going on?
You kind of look like Ben Affleck now that I realize it.
I've gotten Ben Affleck, I've gotten Tom Brady, but I'll take it. Thank you.
So that means you really are good looking. Yeah. So what brings you to Mister Supranational United States? And can you share a little intro about yourself?
Well, I heard about it. I met, Bessie, Giselle, and Neil, the rest of the team, and they told me about it, and I jumped on board right away. I've done some runway stuff in the past, and it was a blast. I mean, the music was pumping, the crowd was going, so once they pitched this idea, I was down right away. As you can see, I'm from New York. I live in California, but I am representing my home state of New York. I'm from Long Island, right smack in between the Hamptons and New York City.
Wow.
So it's a good spot to be. And I grew up an athlete. I played college football, and now I've kind of just taken all that energy and refocused it into, my acting and my modeling. So I know what it takes to, to succeed. It's hard work, it's dedication, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to be here. The most daring act I've ever done would probably be when I was brand new to Los Angeles, and I knew I wanted to be an actor and a model and that whole thing, but I didn't really know how to get started. So I literally printed out a bunch of headshots and resumes, got in my car, and drove to pretty much every agency that I could find on Google. I walked right up to the front door, knocked, introduced myself. Some people told me that I was absolutely crazy. This is not how you do this. And they kicked me out. And then other people told me, wow, this took a lot of guts for you to just walk up to this agency, introduce yourself, say, here I am, and go for it. I mean, to me, if you want to get something done, you kind of just have to get out and do it yourself. So that was my perspective. But everyone else, who I've told that story to, thinks that it was super daring and pretty ballsy of me. This doesn't really do me justice as to who I am because I was just a kid, but me and my best friend growing up, we used to, and Mom, if you ever see this, I'm sorry. All right, Dad, you too. But we used to take my parents' car. We were probably 15, and we'd be crashing on the couch, and we'd stuff pillows under and make it a blanket, look like someone's sleeping down there. And we would get the keys, we'd take the car, and we'd go hang out with friends for the night. So it's a memory I'll never forget. It was a lot of fun. Really daring, pretty gutsy, pretty stupid looking back. When I have kids, I hope they don't do it, but it was a lot of fun. And we're safe, thankfully, and we have some memories. Hopefully me, I'm in this to win this. But a Superman is someone who is fun, someone who's light, but at the same time knows when it's time to get down to business and take care of what needs to be taken care of. You know, understanding priorities and taking care of things in the order that they need to get taken care of. Staying in great shape, you know, taking care of your mental, physical health, all of that makes a really great Superman, if you ask me.
Hi, Mike. How are you? Pleasure to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you doing?
You look so handsome
Oh,
in
thank you so much.
person. Way more handsome in person.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So my name's Mike. I'm representing the state of Maine. I'm 6'2". Love to play basketball. That's my hobby. Of course, hit the gym. I grew up in Fresno, California. Ever since doing my first play in high school, I said to myself that acting is my passion. So I am, and also modeling. So I'm pursuing acting and modeling while working in the construction industry.
So what brings you here to Mister Supranational USA?
I'd like to have some fun, compete with other men. You know, see if I can become the next supranational. Most daring thing is when I was probably 15 years old. There was a haunted house. My friends, we always used to see shadows, like, you know, in the windows, like inside the house we see shadows. And one of the days we were playing Truth or Dare, and they dared me to go in there, and try to knock on the door, try to see if I could open it. So I went in there, and actually I did try to open the door, but then I don't know, I heard like I heard something inside, and then I just couldn't do it, and so I just ran away. It was haunted, you know what I mean? But it was a dare, so I took it. Yeah, you know, I was immature. I was 16. I had my first car. It was a stick shift. I'm a car guy. I'm still am a car guy. But you know, if I want to do something now, like if I want to race, I'll do it legally. Go to a track or something. But you know, when I was 16, I wasn't really mature. So the guy had I think it was a Nissan 350Z, and I had a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. So he kind of looked at me like, hey, you want to race, right? So I agreed to it, and we raced, right? It was a stick shift, so I just went first gear, second gear, and I think my third gear reached like 80 miles per hour or something, and it was a 50 mile per hour zone. So the cop saw us, we got caught. He pulled us both over, and you know, at first I thought, you know, being honest with the cop will get me away, but turns out that was not the fact. He actually got more mean when I was honest with him. You know what I mean? So he's like, "What are you doing out here? Are you racing?" I'm like, yeah, sorry about that, you know. So I just apologized, and then he's like, why'd you do it? So I told him, he gave me the eye, and the guy starts laughing. He was making fun of me. The cop starts to make fun of me, like he gave me the eye, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was being honest. But my car got impounded for 30 days, so that was bad. So I had to pay like $2,500 to take it out, not including the court fees and all that stuff, the lawyer's fees and all that.
So you never got away with it?
No, I did not. No, I did not get away with it. No, but a misdemeanor never went to my record, so that's good. I never got the misdemeanor because I hired a lawyer. A Superman, I guess. If I want to define it, I'll say the way I see the guy who's the next Superman would be confident, but not conceited. You know what I mean? Like, you know, confident but humble. Muscular aesthetics, not bodybuilding, not the bodybuilder type, but more of the aesthetic look. Tall, you know, 6 feet or over. Confident, you know, he has a personality, not just the looks. So that's how I would define the next Superman.
Hi, Blake. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. It's my pleasure to finally meet you in person. Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so what brings you to Mister Supranational United States, and can you share a little introduction about yourself?
So I'm born and raised in a very small town in Montana, a town of 2,000 people. So, you know, Los Angeles is 30 million people or not 30 million, 10 million people in a 30-mile radius, and I'm from a town of 2,000. Middle of nowhere, and I wrestled my whole life since I was 6 years old. I'm a state champ wrestler in high school. You know, I wrestled in college as well. I was in the military for a year. special forces I was trying to get into. I got medically discharged with a hole in my retina. That's patched now. But I got discharged from that. I was pretty sad. I did construction for a couple months, bought my Mustang, and I was, I could see my whole life planned out ahead of me back home in Montana. And I didn't want to just be a construction worker and retire. I'm like, I'm gonna go out to Los Angeles, and, I want to do bodybuilding, I want to do acting, I want to do modeling. This is where entertainment is. So that kind of led me to here for the last 3 years. Just really grinding, that's the only way you're gonna get anything in life, is if you really push yourself to achieve your goals and just say you're gonna do it. You have to actually, follow the habit of doing it. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. You're on your way to reaching your goals. Just keep grinding. Yeah, like you said.
Up to the stars.
Yeah.
So the most daring act I think I've done in my life would have to be applying for special warfare for the Air Force, because it's a 2-year pipeline if you get selected, and only 10% make it through. And you're doing drown proofing, like you're being drowned under the water, and they're like, you have a little snorkel, they're like pushing you down to the bottom, and you can't freak out. It's called buddy breathing. And there's another person with you, and you have to give the air back to them. And you're sitting there, guppy, and you can't breathe. And, you do so much stuff. You do rucking, you got to survive in the forest with just a knife for a week for SEER training. I only did a year of it, so I was drowned by Navy SEALs when I was training for it. I unfortunately got discharged from it, but that was probably the most daring thing, is just trying to go on that adventure, which, unfortunately didn't pan out, but everything happens for a reason. And me going through that experience, getting that mindset after the military, has really helped me to get where I am right now. As most humans do, we all break some rules in our life. And I'd have to say probably the most interesting one is I was about 8, 9 years old, and I was going to an after-school program after school because my mom was working. And, I just wanted to go to the grocery store. I wanted some candy. They give you maybe a couple fruit snacks because you're a kid, and I was like, I want some more. So we waited for the bus. Once they dropped us off at the after-school program, we waited for it to drive off. And me and my buddy Cordell, we walked 6 blocks to the grocery store. And they actually called the cops because they're like, where are these kids at? They're kids. They can't just be out on the loose. They're gone. And I got in probably the biggest trouble I've gotten to, when I was little. The cops had a good talk with me. I was the most scared I've been, I feel like, in my life. So after that, I really didn't do much bad after, that experience. But yeah, that was probably the most biggest rule I broke in my life. I would define a Superman as not only aesthetically pleasing, genetically, they look amazing, low body fat, perfect hair, perfect eyes, perfect teeth, everything, not just the exterior, but also what brings inside. That feeling you get when, you watch somebody that, just kind of does an interview, kind of sits back here or whatever, or someone that really engages you, is just a nice guy, really humble, powerful, can really talk. Just an example of what the whole organization is. That is what Superman should be. And whether that's me or not, I want the best guy to win.
Hi, Valentino. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. Wow. What brings you here to Mister Supranational USA?
I think I'm looking for new opportunities to challenge myself. I think that's the main reason. Trying to be more comfortable with who I am as a person. I'm coming in here exactly as I am. I'm not changing anything about myself, and that's a challenge. I feel like my entire life I've been trying to fit in and make sure that people are comfortable around me, but I have a different mentality right now, so I feel like this is a great place to establish that. I would have to say, I think there's 2. The first one I didn't have any say in. I think it just kind of happened to me, as my family immigrated from Bulgaria, which was a big shock. I didn't speak English. I left all my friends and family behind, so we came to the United States to pursue the American dream. And I think the second one was the decision to move to LA after only dancing for maybe a year and a half to 2 years to pursue a career as a dancer. But I'm so glad that I did it. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without taking that leap. And it was very, very hard. I had to do so much training. I danced like 50 hours a week just to get to where I need to be so I can work in the industry. And I've got to say that I learned so much about myself from that entire experience of just not giving up and just keep pushing forward. And I think that's coming to LA is one of the biggest challenges I've done. Have I broken some rules in my life? Who hasn't broken rules in their life? Yes, I think rules are great. I love rules. I'm a very type A person. I love a schedule. I love rules. But I think you have to know the rules to be able to break the rules. So I have... I don't know if I can say too much without getting myself in trouble, but I'm going to say that I have. Superman. I would say a man who is open to the world, open to experiencing and learning different cultures, someone who wants to give, someone who has something to give. It's someone who promotes unity and being one. I think that's my definition.
All right, that's cool. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hi, Kyoho.
Hey.
How are you? Such an interesting name. Can you tell us the story behind your interesting name?
It actually means Keoho Lama Lama. It's Hawaiian. My mom gave me that name. It means the proclamation or enlightenment of knowledge. But I'm also Filipino, French, Japanese, Okinawan, very mixed. I come from an island that is very mixed with a lot of cultural influences. Predominantly from Hawaii. I grew up playing dancing hula. My mom is a kumu hula instructor. I grew up playing football, baseball, and basketball. And then after high school, I got into dancing at all the luau's, learning different other cultural dances, and that has also taken me around the world. So I've traveled with Hawaiian Airlines on the promotion team. The thing that I've done during that time period, I became a bartender as well as I bodybuild for the past 5 years. So being able to switch over to modeling and pageantry has been an interesting first time experience for me. Most daring thing I've ever done in my life was growing up. I had a trampoline, so I did a lot of backflips. In Hawaii, we like to jump off the rocks and do flips. So during a gainer, something I like to do. So I could do it at 30 feet. I've done it at 40 feet. There's a place called Spitting Caves, which is 70 feet. I've done a gainer at 70 feet. It's on my social media. And that was the most daring thing I've ever done. Some of the one of the rules that I broken was I was supposed to be at rehearsals for a hula performance, but I was with the baseball team, getting drunk, drinking, and having a good time. Unfortunately, I was grounded for 6 months, and how I got through it was I listened to my parents. I went to school. I went home. I went to practice. I behaved. I think Superman, the definition of that is someone who caters to humanity and the planet itself. Coming from where I'm from, Aloha Aina is about restoring what gives us life back into the land. So I believe through self-sustaining environments through science and agriculture is what a Superman should be focused on, as well as being able to have a vision, to have a vision, to be courageous and diligent in completing the tasks that is needed to serve humanity.
Hey Matthew, how are you? How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you so much. My name's Matthew Wayne, representing the Great Lakes State of Michigan for Mister Super USA. But I was actually born and raised in Jakarta, Indonesia. I was born in Jakarta, in the capital city, Indonesia, and lived there till I was about 6 years old, until I moved to Michigan, where I grew up. Entire youth spent playing sports, whether it was football, wrestling, or baseball. I do have a twin brother. We are fraternal, not identical, unfortunately. But what's super interesting is my mom is Chinese Indonesian and my biological father is Dutch. And we actually came from donor IVF insemination, or we were inseminated through donor IVF, and we have 24 half siblings that are from the donor. What is super interesting about that is I have all these half siblings, and we did start to reconnect over the years, and got the opportunity to meet quite a few of them, which is very inspiring for me, knowing that there are more people that are out there that are very similar. Most daring thing I've ever done in my life, I would say, would be moving out of state by myself when I was 18 years old. So when I was 18, I decided to pack my bags and move to Hawaii at 18 years old. And when I got there, luckily I had a family friend that lived there that let me stay there until I got on my feet, working 3 jobs at the time, and just being a young kid, just full of love and looking for new experiences and opportunities over there. Yeah, rules are meant to be broken. So my friends find pleasure in sneaking into pools, whether they're hotel pools or just skinny dipping in the ocean. It's just that factor of doing something that you shouldn't be doing that gives you a little excitement and adrenaline. I would define a Superman as someone with great resilience, a great will, someone that's continuously bettering themselves as well as the people that are around them.
Hi Elijah,
Hi.
Mr. Colorado.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing good this morning.
You look more handsome in person. You know that? No? Yeah, so what brings you here in Mr. Supranational United States?
Have a good time. That's why I'm here. Meet some cool guys. Have a good time. Friendly competition. Yeah, and see what happens. See where it goes.
Yeah, wow. You look really way better in person. I hope you know that. So
Thank
can
you.
you share a little intro about yourself?
Okay, so my name's Elijah. I'm 23 years old. I like creating stuff in whatever I'm doing. So in my free time, I like building things. I like, art. I like drawing. I like painting. I like making music, playing the piano, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and also an athlete. I like working out. I did track and field growing up, and just kind of weightlift now, but I also surf and run stuff. Most daring thing I've ever done. So this is kind of corny. The most daring thing I ever have done is just being myself, being comfortable as myself. Growing up, I didn't really, like in kindergarten, I didn't talk to anyone at all. And the whole school year. And I didn't really talk to people growing up. I was really shy, really like in a shell. And just growing up and having different experiences and doing all kinds of things has gotten me out of my comfort zone. And I now have this comfort in just being myself, which is really like, I don't know, it's really I guess, peaceful. It's just comfortable now. And I still like to put myself out of my comfort zone because it challenges me. It gets me, up and going. It helps me become my better version of myself. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so growing up, you're told to go to college and go to school, and all my friends did that. I went to college too, but ended up dropping out before I got my degree to pursue my job. And so I don't have a degree, but I instead found this passion for modeling and acting, so I shifted from going to school for animation to becoming a full-time model and haven't looked back since.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Superman. Okay. I think I define it as someone who inspires people to be their best self. I think they should be like an idol, someone who should inspire, someone who should set an example, and who people should look up to help improve themselves and improve the community.